So now we're, say you gave the example you talked about like approaches to asking your customers, more questions, engaging them in deeper conversations. You said there's three approaches to doing that. One is through a website, your website. You give the example of like airlines, for example, that whether or not a trip is for business or for pleasure, because that has an impact. Talk to me more about these, approaches. I mean, how to engage your customers more to get the data that you need.
Well, it all starts with that hypothesis and that question. So let's talk about the business versus personal travel. One that I think all airlines should ask about. The hypothesis behind it is that business travelers are less price sensitive.
Hmm.
They're not
Wrong.
paying.
Right.
They're not paying. Other things matter to them. And when you look through the airlines, there have been histories of it. Southwest Airlines originally, when they were getting started, taking advantage of that to say, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter on giving them low fares. I mean, that helps getting them on the plane, but business travelers love free alcohol.
Yes.
Which is why they
Right.
still have the free drink coupons today, is because it's to say, hey, you book with us, we're going to give you something back that helps
Yeah.
you. Help
And
something.
and by the way, I can confirm that we do like the free alcohol when we travel.
We
For
do.
real.
And they give you the drink coupons, and that legacy continues.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so what I look for it as when we're talking about this is to say, if you have those hypotheses where you're wondering to say, do my audiences want to share this information? Do they care? You have the ability on websites to capture it. A lot of companies don't.
Hmm.
A lot of companies don't ask. They
Hmm.
keep things very stagnant. Now, let's talk about this modern practice. Where is one of the greatest opportunities to collect customer data? A lot of times people think, well, we don't want to do it when they get to the website because we don't want to distract them from buying. And we don't want to do it during the checkout process because they're ready to check out. All valid arguments.
Okay.
What about the thank you page?
Hmm.
Turns out data supports that the height of customer trust is right when they give you their money because they now trust you to deliver that product.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then what happens? At the height of trust, you say thank you, which is appropriate. You give them an order number they're not going to write down, and you encourage them to close that window as quickly as possible and go on their way.
Right.
And
True.
it turns out that ground is probably the best place where companies are starting to say, hey, let's ask a few more questions. Now, they're not just arbitrary questions to be like, what do you want us to build, or do you love us? To make you feel good, but they're very pointed to specific use cases. For instance, how much are you spending with us versus your competitors?
Right.
Is there an opportunity here? Do we have a small portion of your share wallet, or do we have 100% of what you spend? How happy were you with the checkout process? How happy are you with your prices? Would you have paid a little bit more? Would you have bought more? Would you have bought this product if we charge a little bit less?
Hmm.
The idea is not to agree on 3 or 4 questions, but to look at it as almost a place where you can experiment to see what are customers willing to share, what would we do with that data, and can we be more responsive to their needs?